Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we'll be taking a look at Arrival, the Arrival Microfactory. Now recently, Arrival produced their first electric van in the Arrival Microfactory in Bicester. At least that's how some say it's pronounced. However, apparently I've been pronouncing it Bicester and that's incorrect, so I do apologize. So this is the Arrival Microfactory. What I can clearly see are a lot of robots. These robots have one name on them, Kirka. So Kirka might be the actual company. Now this is the chassis assembly. That's the chassis being assembled. The bottom of the vehicle, the bedding of the vehicle. Now this is the body structure assemble. They're assembling, that was all part of the foundation, but this is the body structure assemble now. So they're assembling the entire frame of the vehicle. Very, very interesting. So we're seeing man and machine both working to accomplish this goal. And it's very interesting to watch this. So based on the quality of build this vehicle goes through will determine how Arrival can proceed forward. If this vehicle was produced at high quality, then that's good. But at the end of the day, you got to remember that they have a mission to build these vehicles at mass. And now we're seeing robots that are operating on the ground as well. So we're seeing ground units robots. So there are a variety of robots, and these robots are not cheap. These robots cost millions to buy. This is another look at the vehicle just being rolled around the factory. This is very fascinating. This is a very fascinating insight to the Arrival manufacturing process. And what we clearly get is that it's not an assembly line just as Arrival promised. So I really want to go through this video as slowly as possible to understand as much as I can. So once again, if we just watch this process here, these are the ground units robots. Now this is the structural hoop assembly. I believe this is like the bedding of the vehicle. This is like where the batteries will probably be housed. I could be wrong. I do apologize if I am, but I'm just looking to learn as much as I can. Now, all of these components that are being installed, I have no idea what these are. But this is where we get to the chassis assemble. And obviously, this is the bedding of the vehicle. This is where the battery will be housed somewhere within the chassis beneath there. So the real question is, based on time it takes to manufacture this one vehicle, the cost of investment it takes to manufacture this vehicle, Arrival can finally assess how much it's going to cost them to manufacture 1,000 vehicles, 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, how much investment they'll need, and how they can make this easier, how they can accomplish this easier. And the more they do this is the more they'll understand if microfactory, micro-manufacturing is really the future, or is assembly lines the perfect way to manufacture a vehicle? Because assembly line is what everyone else is using. It's what Tesla's using. It's what Polestar is using at the Volvo factories. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, Porsche, they're all using assembly lines because it's a fast process. It's an easy process. There's different sections within an assembly line and the vehicles just roll around that assembly lines, all being installed at different rates, different things being installed by different people. At the start of the assembly line, it's just the entire vehicle without any components, without any seats, without any electrical system. At the end of the assembly line, that vehicle is at least 80 to 90% complete. So it makes an assembly line very, very good for manufacturing vehicle. The real question is this microfactory, this idea of the microfactories, can this be a better solution? Why is it a better solution? Is it really a better solution? Because what you have to understand is that assembly lines, they also use plenty of robots to install components within those cars that are being built. So the big difference with microfactories is that microfactories can be within anywhere. You can have a microfactory within any city because that's the idea. It's a small factory that can produce a small amount of vehicle. But how good would this be for Arrival? Now, bringing these vehicles closer to the buyers, it works amazingly. However, having everything under one roof, everyone working to the collective good to build everything at fast pace, that seems like the smart idea. Splitting your company up into different locations of manufacturing, it's a very tiresome and difficult objective to obtain. Seriously, that's going to be very, very difficult for Arrival to perfect this way of manufacturing. But nevertheless, they're trying. And I appreciate their efforts. I'm sure many of us appreciate their efforts because there's not many other companies who are trying different ways to manufacture a vehicle. At least Arrival is looking at a solution to manufacturing vehicles in a better way. So instead of moving this vehicle's chassis around on a conveyor belt, obviously it's being moved around the factory floor on tiny little robots, little by little. So that's the major difference right there. But in a way, it is still a factory. It's just that it's a microfactory performance a little bit different. But the real question is, how efficient will this be long term for manufacturing vehicles? So I can only imagine that for Arrival to do all of this, to accomplish all of this, imagine how long and difficult of a task it must be to do all of this safely. It's not easy. It doesn't look easy, and it's definitely not easy. But nevertheless, they did it. They manufactured their first vehicle using their Microfactory. So now with this vehicle, what they're doing is quality inspection and test drive, which is really good. That's exactly what we need. But I'm really curious to find out how long it took them to build this one vehicle in the Microfactory, because that will give us a good idea of, is it even possible for them to build 1,000, 10,000 vehicle within one Microfactory, 20,000, 100,000. But these microfactories will be operating all year round. And if these microfactories are located in similar cities, in close by cities, well, the staffing can be transferred quite easily. If you need to help out the other microfactory, there can be easily access between them, easily transparency between them, easily help. If materials need to be at one factory instead of the other, that can be easily done. This vehicle is named Van Delta 001, one of its kind, the first one of its kind. Good job to Arrival. These are the vehicles that will be sold to customers. But this first vehicle, this is just a test unit. This is still the final prototype, essentially. Yeah, this is still the final prototype. So I'm interested to see where Arrival goes from here. But obviously, I am still supporting Arrival 100%. I still believe in their efforts, in exactly what they're trying to do. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.